Shri Sai Ram. Jnana Vahini by Bhagwan Shri Satya Sai Baba. The Greatness of a Jnani. Chapter 8. You can see without eyes, hear without ears, speak without the mouth, smell without the nose, touch without the body, walk without legs, perceive without the mind, for you are the error-free and pure Antakarana, that is mind itself. You are the Paramatma or the Supreme Self. You have no understanding of this Nijam or truth, so you are drowned in a jnana or ignorance. You feel you are the karma indriyas, the organ of physical action only, and therefore you experience misery. The panch indriyas or the five senses are all bound up with the mind. The mind can perform all the things that can be done by jnana indriyas independently. When a blind man reads a book, it is through his mind's eye, but the jnani hears and sees through his divya chakshu or the divine eye, that is to say, jnana drishti or eye of wisdom. As said in the Gita, the Lord's feet are everywhere, the Lord's hands are everywhere, His eyes, His ears, His mouth are everywhere. So, He sees all, hears all, He does all, He is devoid of senses, yet He performs the functions of all the senses. To grasp this mystery, the path of jnana has to be trodden. That path is very helpful. When a person becomes an experiential jnani, he becomes himself, it, and it is merged in him, and both become indistinguishable. Then he realizes that he is the agatha or inscrutable, the apremya, unobjectionable, unfathomable, and the aparichina or the limitless Brahman or the absolute Godhead. When fire burns, its light can be discerned from a distance, but those who are far cannot hope to feel its warmth. So too, it is easy to read and write about the splendor of jnana as such and such. Only those who have actually felt and immersed in Brahman can experience the jnana anandam or the bliss of jnana. For this, continuous tapas, continuous meditation on God, these are needed. The pure antakarana or the mind can be known by the sadhana of bhakti. The goal of bhakti is indeed jnana. When an author writes a play, the entire play will already be in his mind. Before he sets pen on paper, act after act, scene after scene, if he has no picture of the entire drama in his mind, he will never entertain the idea of writing it at all, is it not? But take the case of the audience. They grasp the story only after the drama is fully over. It unfolds itself scene by scene. Once they have understood the theme, they too can confidently describe to others the purpose of the play. Similarly, for the Lord, this drama of time with its three acts, the past, the present, and the future, is clear as crystal. In the twinkle of an eye, he grasps all the three, for he is omniscient. It is his already conceived plan that is being worked out. His well-scripted drama that is being enacted on the stage of creation. Both the actors and the spectators are lost in confusion, unable to summarize, unable to surmise its meaning and its development. The entire play has to be gone through for them to understand the essence of play. So, the essence of jnana cannot be known readily. Only after experiencing it fully can one know about it in its entirety and describe it to others clearly. So, the spectators who are watching the play of jnana, the understanding of it occurs gradually Step by step, one scene or one act cannot reveal its meaning. Without a clear understanding of the play, people mistake that they are jivis or sadhakas because of falling under the influence of the traits of manas or mind and buddhi intellect. As a result, they are constantly beaten by the waves of joy and sorrow. When the mystery is cleared and the play is understood properly, the conviction dawns that he is me and I am him. Therefore, put the efforts to complete the sadhana spiritual practice. Do not try to know the fundamental truth behind life, searching somewhere outside. Seekers of jnana must always be conscious of this. The Lord is in every heart as jnana swarupam, true form of jnana, in the subtle as well as the gross forms. So, the jnani who has had a vision of the Atma presiding over the inner stage will never be affected by sorrow. It can never hold sway over him. The Atma is in the ant and the elephant, in the atom, as well as the Brahman or the absolute Godhead that is bigger than the biggest or vaster than the vastest. Entire universe is saturated with the subtlest Atma. The sadhaka must divert his attention inwards from the exterior world and focus on the Atma. He must find out the origins of the vrittis of the mind. From that stage onwards, one will be able to absorb in Brahmara vritti, that is mental modification, where the mind perceives the universe in the form of Brahman, that is Satchit Ananda, that is the absolute truth, without any interruptions. This will help the sadhaka to remain steady in the true state of Satchit Ananda. Such a jnani can never be affected by joy or sorrow, however big they may be. He will be immersed in the ocean of Atma Ananda, Atma Anandam, blissfully unaware of the world around him, far above and beyond its coils. The discipline called Brahma Abhyasam means to constantly contemplate on Brahman, praying to Brahman, conversing on Brahman, and to become one with Brahman. The same is mentioned in the Panchadashi too as Tat Chintanam, Tat Kathanam, Anyonam, Tat Prabodhanam. Itat Ikaparat Vancha Jnana Abhyasam Vidur Buddha, meaning thoughts dedicated to Brahman alone, speech devoted to him alone, conversation centered on him alone. All such practices are referred by the wise as the discipline of Brahma Abhyasam. This is the lesson taught in the Gita as well by Lord Krishna. Machita mad gata parina bodhayantaha parasparam kathayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramati cha, meaning they who fix the mind on me, they who dedicate their lives to me, they who always talk only of me and thereby realize me will always be content and happy. Therefore, the term Brahma Chintana itself is also referred to as Jnana Abhyasam or Atma Abhyasam. The mind pursues exterior objects only, either because of Vishya Shakti or because of Vikshepa Shakti. So it has to be again and again brought back to focus on the correct goal. At first, the job is hard. Still, by proper training, the mind can be controlled and it can thus be made to concentrate on the japam of Om. The training to control the mind consists of sama and dhamma, that is, control of the internal mind and keeping the external senses under control. Uparati, that is, no likes and dislikes. Titiksha, staying neutral in dualities. Shraddha, on unwavering faith. And samadhana, or the single-pointed concentration. First, the mind has to be saturated with practices such as bhajans, prathanas, good behavior, sattva gunas, sat pravartana, and then only turn it towards Brahma Abhyasam. Through Brahma Abhyasam, when you proceed further and further in the contemplation and meditation on Atma, it gives rise to pristine thoughts. Through this training, the mind can be caged in the cave of the heart so that it cannot wander about any other things. The result of this sadhana is Nirvikalpa Samadhi, a state of complete absorption in which there is absence of distinction between the knower, knowledge, and the known. And the fruit of this samadhi is Brahma Jnanam, which grants moksha or mukti, that is liberation from birth and death. So, the sadhana consists of 3 exercises which should be practiced all together: the giving up of desires or cravings, the calming or annihilation of mind, and Tattva Jnanam, or the understanding of the reality. Only then the Atma Jnanam, or the knowledge of the self, can be attained. All these 3 have to be cultivated parallelly and with equal ardor. Otherwise, the Atma Jnanam cannot be ensured. No one of them is good enough, even if practiced for a very long period and mastery gained over it. Without the help of the other 2, it is not possible to overcome vasanas or tendencies, which is essential in annihilating the mind. It is because of vasanas one gets interested in sensual pleasures and bondages. So, giving up or destroying vasanas is possible only by means of viveka or discrimination, Atma Chintana or meditation on the Atma, and Vicharana or the inquiry, Sama, that is control of the internal instruments, that is the mind, and Dhamma, keeping the external senses under control. Vairagya or the detachment of or renunciation, Tyaga or unconditional sacrifice, and such disciplines. When the vasanas of the mind are destroyed, the dawn of jnana is heralded. The sadhaka has to be ever vigilant, for the senses might recoil any moment. If it is a yogi or a tyagi, such temptations come and also go away promptly. But it can turn out to be a big blunder to associate with those who are fully immersed in the world. Always be immersed in Tattva Jnana Bhyasam, or constantly contemplate on the reality of the Atma. Wants should not be multiplied. Time should not be frittered away. No, not even a minute. The craving for one pleasant thing will give rise to another for a still more pleasant thing. Cut the desire at the very root itself. Otherwise, one desire breeds more desires. The tyaga, or renouncing of desire, is the highest of all kinds of tyagas or renunciations. That highest tyaga will take you fast to the pinnacle of jnana. The state of such a jnani is as follows. Grief and joy are but the very nature and ways of the mind. They are the modifications of the mind. So, when the mind is annihilated, how can the grief and joy, which are nothing but the features of the mind, affect a jnani? Jnani can experience grief only when his mind is associated with the body. When an anesthetic drug is taken One is not aware of pain. Is it not? How does this happen? The mind is then detached from the body, and so it is not bothered by physical pain or discomfort. Similarly, the Jnani too has merged his mind in the Atma. In such a state, he can discipline the mind and establish mental peace and quiet. So, the Jnani experiences full Ananda or bliss from his own Atma. He does not seek any kind of happiness outside of himself. In fact, he will have no desire or plan to find joy in anything external, for he experiences all the desires he needs to experience in his own Atma itself. The Jnani will acquire some siddhis or special powers too through his satsankalpas or beneficent resolutions, and satkarmas or beneficent promptings and purposes. Through these, he can attain whatever he wishes. Therefore, the greatness of a Jnani is beyond description, even beyond imagination. It is of the same nature as the splendor and magnificence of the Lord Himself. Why? He becomes the Brahman itself. That is why Shruti declares, Brahmavid Brahmevo Bhavati. Brahmavid apnoti param. That is to say, he who has known Brahman becomes Brahman itself. He who has attained the Brahman principle becomes the highest. Therefore, whoever grasps the reality, Brahman, behind all this passing show in this world and perceives the world as untruth, he will be free from all vasanas or tendencies, and ajnana, ignorance, is completely dispelled. The robber who has robbed us of the precious gem of Atma is no other than the mind. So, if that robber is caught and punished, the gem can be regained. The possessor of that gem is immediately honored by being installed as Brahman. The great souls who have won this Atma Jnanam or the knowledge of the self deserve worship. They are holy. Brahman is eternal, non-dual and independent. Realizing Brahman is the ultimate goal of everyone in this world, whoever they are, whatever they are, and whichever kind of tapas or asceticism or dhyana meditation they follow. This is the profundity of the Brahman, the wisdom elucidated in the Vedas, Upanishads and Shastras. Knowing this knowledge is the highest result of sadhana aspired by a Jnani. It is the ultimate goal to reach by a Jnani. It is moksha or liberation. It makes life worthwhile. Both real and unreal, or truth and untruth, must be offered in sacrifice to the sharp sword of Jnana. This renunciation itself helps to keep the world afar and brings the abode of the Lord within reach. That abode is Nitya Anandam, or the eternal bliss, Parama Anandam, the supreme bliss, Brahma Anandam, the absolute bliss. Jai Sai Ram.
साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्। ॐ